Hello everyone, this is David, Fairly Secret Music. Today I went record shopping. I had a garage sale to go to. My friend Rob is moving to China, so we couldn't bring anything with him. And he was having a garage sale, selling a lot of things for $2 or $7 for $10. A few things were $5 each, but all really great deals. He gave me a stereo receiver for like $7, and a tape deck, a bunch of guitar cords and microphone clips, just a lot of stuff that he was like, hey, if you don't take it, I'm throwing it in the garbage anyway. So, because he is moving to China. So after that garage sale where I got really sunburnt, I went to a place called Cheapo Records. I went to 2 locations. I wasn't going to show this, but my wife was looking for the camp soundtrack, so I got that for her. And I was looking for another CD that I had to go to the second Cheapo to do, and that is the Cheapo that I did a video in store. So the first Cheapo I went to, I found Quiet Riot QR3, and this is the Rock Candy reissue. I've been looking for this for about 18 months, hoping to find it at one of the stores. The last time I did see it, I saw it at a place called Electric Fetus, and my friend Rob was getting it, and then for some dumb reason refused to sell me his older copy. So I finally found it about 6 months later or so. I've been looking for this for quite a long time, as I said, especially because Chuck Wright plays bass on it. And yes, this is my Cannibal Corpse t-shirt. I've had this since 1995. It still fits, and it's maybe a little snug, but I'm not standing up anyway. I was a huge fan of Vince Locke, so that's why I wanted to get this. Never was really a fan of Cannibal Corpse, although I did have this album at one point. I do not have it anymore. So that was one of the CDs I got. Then I had to go to the next store, and I found That Thing You Do. I listened to tons of Sepultura. The only Sepultura album I have is, oh God, what's it called? Arise. I think that's a great album. I listened to 3 songs with Derek Green on it. Didn't really get into those. Tried out Roots again. Decided no. Man, my head is sunburnt from being at that. I was there for 2-3 hours talking to him and his wife and stuff. So those were the things that I got at the record store. I got this because I have the Beyond the Stage, the documentary, and this is kind of later. This is kind of like them wrapping everything up. And I thought, well, if he's charging me $2 for it, that's totally worth it. This is a band no one will have heard of, really. They're called One Shot. The bass player, the keyboardist, and the guitarist were all in Magma when they made this. Magma is a French band that has been around since the 60s. The only person that wasn't in the band was the drummer. Magma has their own drummer that they don't need a replacement. One Shot, all instrumental, pretty cool. I have a later album that I really like. This is, I believe, their first album. I got a Weather Report album that I didn't have, Night Passage. This isn't one of the remasters. Most of these ones have been remastered. These are the ones that I normally get. But I thought, you know what? For $2, I'll just get it, and if it doesn't sound as good as the other ones, I can always replace it. An XTC single called Dear God. I have a cat over there who is climbing on a mound of boxes that is distracting me. And actually, I'm going to bring this forward a little bit so we can get a bigger picture of the items. So XTC Dear God, this also has, I believe, 6 bonus tracks that were basically done by Andy Partridge that he was doing basically on his own. It's called the Homo Safari series. I think it's all instrumental stuff. I don't know if I said that, but I thought, okay, yeah. And the funny thing is, I just saw this at one of the cheapo album record stores yesterday, and I think they wanted way too much for it. But I got it now. Some people might know this band, Attention Deficit. This is Michael Manring, Herb Alexander, or Tim Alexander, and Alex Skolnick from Testament. Alexander was from Primus, and Manring, he did a lot of new agey stuff and jazzy stuff. The only thing anybody might be familiar with is he played bass on Jim Mathios's second album. That is the guitarist from Fate's Warning. It's pretty cool, all instrumental stuff. Bill Laswell. If you ever got into Buckethead stuff, you will know who Bill Laswell is, because he did Praxis with Bernie Worrell, Brain, from who was the second drummer or third or fourth drummer for Primus. This is his dub series, and this was the one that I liked the most out of the ones that I've heard. I never actually owned this one. I owned a lot of his earlier stuff, but he's got a very distinct bass sound. I hope the whole thing is great. What samples I did listen to, I really enjoyed. This was one of the more expensive ones. This is Jonas Hellberg, who is a bass player. Michael Shreve, who played drums with Santana on their most popular albums in the 70s. And the guitarist Buckethead. And if you don't know who Buckethead is, then you're in for a surprise. But Buckethead and Hellborg are both playing acoustic bass and acoustic guitar, and this is very fusion-y, despite the fact that they do not have electric instruments. There's one track that has kind of like a and it's just got really crazy drums, and it's just awesome. This is called Octave of the Holy Innocents, all instrumental. This was in the other expensive one. By expensive, I say these were $5. This is John Zorn's Naked City. This is Radio. This has John Zorn, Yamatsuka Ai from the Boredoms, Fred Frith on bass, who is normally a guitar player. He was in Henry Cow and Massacre with Bill Laswell, which that album I passed on. I probably shouldn't have, but I did, because I didn't know how much money I was spending. I spent probably $40 today. I'm not sure. It has Bill Frisell on guitar and Wayne Shorter on... No. I don't know who was in this. It's been so long since I've had this. This is what the back looks like. What? Yeah, this is John Zorn, Bill Frisell on guitar, Wayne Horvitz on keyboards, Fred Frith on bass, Joey Barron on drums, and Yamatsuka Ai on vocals. And this is one of their more accessible ones. This is like jazz if you mix them with a free jazz band who does metal every once in a while. I don't know. John Zorn produced the first Mr. Bungle album, if that gives you any idea of kind of where he's coming from. I picked this up. This is like a promo copy. Has the punch in there, but it is the 2-disc version, and this is my favorite Phish era Marillion album, but it was in such good shape, and my booklet is so hacked because it's so thick, and getting it past those little tabs that hold the booklet in has ruined it. So I thought, screw it, I'll buy another one. It's $2. I could have got Fugazi, but he was asking a little more, and there was a friend of his that decided to get it, and I would much rather somebody who really needs some Marillion to get it. I would have passed or given this one up, but I had already had my heart set on replacing that booklet. That's me being a dick. And last but not least, Metallica, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I was not going to get this album. I listened to samples of this album. I listened to it used the first day it came in. Somebody had already sold it used. But I thought it's pretty cheap. The only Metallica album I don't have is Saint Anger, I think. Oh, wait, no. I don't have Load or Reload and Saint Anger. But this, at least, they're doing metal again, and I thought, you know, if I don't like it, I could sell it and probably make a couple bucks off of it. This is the 3-disc version. I don't know what all is on this last disc. I guess bonus stuff. Well, that's actually worth it because it has a bunch of really good live older stuff. So yeah, that was my CD haul today, along with a lot of wires, a lot of mic clips, a DVD, and a stereo receiver, and a cassette deck, which I'm going to give to a friend of mine. All right, hopefully you like it, and watch that cheapo video to see what some of the record stores around in Minnesota look like.